So today we have Zack Foster with Lake State Mortgage. Zack is a residential mortgage officer with nearly 10 years in the industry, well, an average of 7 to 9 loans per month. Zack specializes in helping first-time homebuyers and VA clients navigate the process with clarity and confidence. And he's known for his strong communication, reliability, and ability to solve complex problems, especially when other lenders say no. So if you know a listing agent with a deal that's falling apart, a veteran who deserves expert guidance, or a self-employed borrower struggling to get approved, Zack is the person who makes the impossible happen. Please help me welcome Zack Foster.
And I did write that myself, so that's what I believe. Anyway, guys, I'm going to skip through who I am. I haven't changed any photos, so those are some of my hobbies. Oh, there we go. Okay. It was working. Anyways, yeah, I like to believe that I'm the lender who people call when deals go south. I get a lot of calls from realtors, real estate agents, clients, yada, yada, where their friends, family trying to buy a house and their lender says, hey, sorry, we can't close. Work with a lot of first-time home buyers, clients that might not have a lot of funds to put down, looking for some down payment assistance in that sense. Or maybe they have some credit work to do. So we work a lot with those kind of buyers. VA deals, so veterans, a lot of lenders, like I mentioned in my ask, don't really understand the process with VA deals. They're so simple to work on, and so many people make so many mistakes, and realtors don't understand the program at all. So oftentimes listing agents do not like to accept offers with a VA deal attached to it, and it's such an easy program. Some of the buyers are some of the more stronger buyers out there. Business owners, if you own a business and you made 200 grand last year, but on paper you made $20,000, most places are going to say, sorry, you can't buy a house. We're not going to say no. We're going to say, let's go get your bank statements, your last 12 months, and see how much income you actually bring in. And we use an expense factor like 20% versus your taxes might be 80%, and there's ways to qualify people. And then, like I said, I'm the guy that helps make problems go away. Here's some states I'm licensed in. So I think there's 8 of them now. So Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, South Carolina, Florida, and Texas. All blue is where corporate's licensed in. So I technically can do loans in all of those states. And then even the ones that are gray, there's still opportunity to do loans there for investment properties. Like you guys know, I've been working on a Hawaii deal. What do I do? So I do mortgages, fun stuff. I'm going on 10 years this July, which is kind of crazy to think it's been 10 years already, but we're still here. It's been a little slow. This time of year is always a little slow, but on average, I do about 7 to 10 loans a month, average out throughout the year. So we do a fair bit of business. From what I hear, people love how we communicate. I have my team who is doing updates weekly, consistently. I'm following up with the listing agents every Tuesday. My clients, I'm trying to stay in touch with them, making sure, all of their needs are met. So communication is really, really important to me. I think having that reliability that someone can count on you is also important, especially for real estate agents. When they need somebody on a weekend or a Friday night at 8 o'clock, I'm pretty much always picking my phone up. And problem solving. I swear, if I went to college and if I wanted to be something, I probably would have become an engineer. I just didn't want to do all that. But I love the problem solving aspect, which mortgages, problem solving what? There's a lot of it, especially there's a lot of it. And I have a great team that also helps back me on that too. And then, like I said, let's not forget weekends, weeknights, work all the time. So sometimes it gets a little exhausting, but I understand we're changing people's lives. It's, buying a home is the largest investment in your life. There's nothing that's more expensive than your home. If you're buying a $100,000 car, you probably have a much, much more expensive home. But I do give up money for a living. So who needs some money? You do? We're meeting Tuesday. I guess this is kind of the same thing. We're going to skip that. Okay. Where deals fall apart. There's a lot of things that can happen in a transaction. I think there's 83 different things in the process that can happen that can kill something. So paying attention to the details and understanding something is so important. And I think there's a lack of knowledge in this industry for other lenders who just kind of throw things against the wall and see what happens. I'll have a couple examples here in a second that just should never have really been there, but someone's not paying attention. Buyers getting pre-approved incorrectly. When you say you make 60 grand and the documentation doesn't show that, they still will send out pre-approvals. Like, what are we doing here? Self-employed income misunderstood. That's a big one where, again, companies, we have to go through and dissect a tax return, and there's a lot of numbers in there. If someone's going through that and they're not calculating it right, it could kill a deal. VA handled incorrectly, like I mentioned. Communication breakdown. As you can imagine, there's a lot of people, when you're under process, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of hands in the pot. You have listing agents, you have sellers that are upset or want to have updates. If you're not communicating properly, people are going to be upset, and then it just turns into a whole freaking mess. Making sure the communication is done on time is also really important. Like when the process gets, like getting insurance ordered, we have to make sure we get it over to Kevin soon enough to make sure that it all comes in on time. And then obviously last minute underwriting surprises. That's one of the biggest things on what people see where stuff happens 4 weeks in, an underwriter denying a loan because something that should have been looked at from day one that just got missed. That's something we see a lot of where we have to jump in and try and salvage something. So, and like I said, there's a lot of other things that can happen in the process. So it's important to work with someone that is for you and actually understands the business, like I've mentioned like 12 times today. So a couple rescues just the last couple months really. So here are 3 I just kind of thought of. So example 1, and I am going to, actually I probably shouldn't send them on YouTube. Anyways, so I have a client, Stephanie. She was under contract a few months ago with a very big credit union, and everyone uses them and they do a good job. They're fine, except for when it comes to they're conventional FHA, yada, yada. Anyways, she's a 1099 employee. She was with the company for a year and 8 months. The lender said, here you go, here's a pre-approval letter. You guys are good to go. I have no concerns. She got her contract. 4.5 weeks later, the lender said, hey, sorry, we can't close this loan. Well, why? Well, you're a 1099 employee. We didn't realize you were 1099. We thought you were W-2. How can someone get 4.5 weeks into a process and find out that they're not a W-2 employee? This happens way too often. Like then I found out they didn't collect documents in time. So that's one of those things where you have to kind of make sure you're working with the right competent person. Anyways, we had to hold off. So she ended up losing that house. I got involved like right at the very end of it, and we were going to switch her to a bank statement program, but they didn't want to put the money down. We chatted. We're back under contract, and we're closing in a couple of weeks. Example 2, Justin, low hours. So one other aspect that will come up is people will send pre-approvals with a pay stub, and this is very strange, but like if you only work 39 hours a week as a W-2 employee and you're considered variable. Even if you're full-time, if you're not working 40 hours, you're considered variable. So we have to document a history of being variable. 12 months. So if you get a new job and you're working 39 hours, 38 hours, 40 hours 1 week, most lenders will not do that. So this came up. Client came up, said, hey, you're pre-approved. Couple of his pay stubs were less than 40. The lender denied it. Well, there's ways to get through that, and one of those ways is to talk to the employer and say, hey, can you guarantee us that he will be working 40 hours? They write a letter, they get us everything, we got what we needed, we jumped in, we got it closed in 2 weeks. So again, trying to think, I don't want to, working in the gray in a sense in this business sometimes, trying to figure out solutions on how to get past stuff. And then number 3, this wasn't it's not a deal yet, but I got a hold of her last week, or she got a hold of me, I suppose. She also went and got approved with this big credit union, and they told her, yes, you're good to go. You can start looking at homes. She got under contract 3 months ago. Come to find out, she's nowhere near ready. Like credit is like mid 500s. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, how are we sending pre-approvals with this? So she was really upset because they said, sorry, we actually can't get you approved. She talked to the realtor's go-to agent who said, oh yeah, this isn't a problem. A week later says, yeah, actually we can't do this. So she got a hold of me, we spoke last week, had a really good conversation with her, but was also straightforward. Like, hey, here's where we're at today. We're not ready today, but here's how we get there. Gave her a clear path moving forward. And she was so thankful just to the fact, like, you're the first person who's actually been able to be upfront with me and give me a clear path on buying a home. So it was a really good conversation. I ended up getting a call from the real estate agent later. She said, "Oh my gosh, she's raving about you. Like, thank you so much." And keep in mind, this is a brand new agent I've never worked with. So that was awesome. And obviously, you guys, this comes up. I mean, again, anyone can do an easy loan, but sometimes there's more to it than what it appears. I forgot this is not working. Okay. This week, who am I looking for? I'm looking for renters frustrated with rising rent. I'm looking for newly engaged couples or newly divorced couples. Realtors and that need a responsive lender. That one's more for you. Divorce attorneys, CPAs, anyone that's in the business that works with people, which would be all of you guys too. So that's what I'm looking for this week. And how to refer. Simply say, I know a great mortgage guy. Give him a call. Connect us. 3-way text messages work great. And I can take it from there. Closing. Like I mentioned, you guys, if the deal is easy, most lenders can get it done. If someone's putting 20% down, 800 credit score, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, I would love to work with those clients. You know, we're going to take care of them. They're going to feel comfortable. They're going to want to refer business because we're going to do such a great job at making that process go smooth for them. But when it gets complicated, emotional, when people are told no, that's where we really, excel. So have them call me, email me. I can send them a website, whatever we want to do. So, and you guys, Zack Foster, Lake State Mortgage, we make the American dream a reality.